Federal agents Thursday arrested 21 people in Manitowoc County. The FBI says the people were all in the country illegally. It says it suspects 9 of the 21 of sexual assault and or trafficking of minor American girls.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Shots Fired podcast. I'm Mark Redlich. This is Kyle Shoberg, and that's Dan Chipp. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the ICE raids and what the media is not actually willing to share, and how California just passed a state Senate bill saying law enforcement can no longer wear masks. So let's get into this. It's a really interesting topic, and a lot of stuff has been going on in the last few months when it comes to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and now with this new ban at California, and how a lot of this stuff is happening across the country.
Yeah, a lot of people are upset in the law enforcement community in California with this new mask ban law that the governor just signed. And so at face value, it does sound like a cheap shot on law enforcement, you know, but you did a lot of research on it. You can get in depth with the what the legalities of it even are, like what the actual law says, and we'll get into that in a minute. But these ICE raids have become a major talking point on both sides of the aisle, you know, and what's been going on with all these raids that have been happening. We here in our local region, we know that ICE has gone to Home Depot parking lots, restaurants, construction sites. People are being taken into custody or detained, and when the media shows it on the news, it makes it sound as if these federal ICE agents are just going into random parking lots, swooping or corralling up a bunch of illegal immigrants, particularly Hispanics, detaining everybody, and then shipping them out. And that's not exactly how it works. And so I haven't really seen a whole lot of law enforcement channels that really kind of break it down and how it actually works, because we can assure you that as law enforcement, you cannot just pick somebody out and say, hey, you look like you're an illegal immigrant or an illegal Hispanic. I'm going to detain you and deport you. That's just not how it works. And so what is your guys' thoughts on the whole thing? We can kind of break it down for the average person who doesn't have the knowledge that we have.
I think I'm at a disadvantage here, clearly. You guys have laptops, and
That's your fault, dude. You did show. Where's your balaclava or whatever that thing is that you showed up in? We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've been on this podcast before, right?
You have this. You're old. You could etch into this little rock coaster that we have. If that helps you take notes.
Back to the mask thing. I do think it's funny in this state how in the course of 5 years now, we've gone from everybody everywhere at all times has to wear a mask. You can't go buy a can of chew from the shelf without having a mask on.
Yeah.
And now
they're banning
nobody
masks.
can wear one.
Yeah.
Right? It's wild.
That's a great point, actually. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
California is very interesting when it comes to laws. And it's funny because everything starts here and then it always trickles out into other states. That's why everybody hates us.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into masks here in a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So so your guys' thoughts on all these ICE raids and stuff that have been going on. I'm not sitting here saying like, are you pro it? Are you against it? I just want to know your overall thoughts on what the media is putting out there versus what it actually goes on and how these really are conducted. And we're not federal agents. We don't work for ICE. But we are in law enforcement, or you guys were in law enforcement for a long time. Should have a basic understanding of.
I have. Dan, you said you were at a disadvantage, so I'll just go and give you time to process and think and etch.
Yeah, maybe educate me a little bit.
If you want to borrow my laptop, you can just type something.
Maybe
the font's a little small on there.
You look like an Ask Jeeves search engine guy.
Maybe. I've got. I did actually bring a set of Encyclopedia Britannicas, so I'm gonna.
Cool.
I'm gonna look some things up while you guys are
Perfect.
talking.
Nice.
That warms my heart. The fact that you didn't just cut it short as encyclopedias, like you went through the whole,
It's a formal name.
Yeah.
Respect to
respect.
Britannica.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so funny. So here's my thought on the ICE raid. So we know this has been going on for a long time. And I'll tell a story back in 2003. In 2004, before I started in law enforcement, I worked with my stepdad and we framed houses. And we were amongst a massive crew of people that were moving through neighborhoods because there was a housing boom at the time. And there's a lot of Hispanic workers out there. And there were vehicles that would show up, and you would hear people yelling, "Deporte, deporte," immigration, and people would just run. And it was law enforcement showing up for illegal immigrants. I never saw anybody get detained. I saw people run. I saw vehicles. Where I was at, I mean, I worked on a crew and we just continued working. But I mean, it was happening back then, and I know it's been continuing to happen, but now it seems like it's very in the spotlight of stuff. And there's a lot of different opinions on, are they just going to Home Depot and corralling just anybody that's standing out there looking for work? And we know that not to be the case. They're targeting specific people.
Yeah, well, so I pulled up, so ICE, this is what their priorities are according to their, I guess, website and statement. And it says that under current ICE priority guidelines, the agency is instructed to focus on non-citizens who pose a threat to national security, recent illegal entrants, so people that have illegally entered the United States illegally recently, and then those who pose a current threat to public safety, which can include criminal convictions. And then it says, however, ICE retains broad authority to arrest people in the United States who are removable under the immigration law, even if they don't fall into the priority category, which are the things I just read. So they're saying, so yes, people with violent or serious criminal histories are explicitly among ICE's intended targets, but the guidelines don't limit ICE to only those individuals. And so it goes on to say that they're targeting people with violent criminal history, whether they've been convicted of it, they have been charged with a crime, or they're still pending a case. Those are the people that they're targeting. When they're going into these places of business, Home Depot, whatever, they're targeting certain people that they already know to be, that are going to be at that workplace, right? So we talked about it before. If they're investigating somebody, they know him or her to be here illegally. He fits this criteria under their priorities of what they're looking for. Maybe it's somebody with violent criminal history. Law enforcement doesn't like to go into other people's homes. So generally speaking, we'll wait for people to leave. They'll know their pattern of life, wait for them to land at this Home Depot parking lot because they know, oh, I know this individual is going to be, he's into construction. They goes to Home Depot every single morning. He waits to get a job and then gets picked up. Law enforcement will wait for that person to go to the Home Depot parking lot to then apprehend them. So in the media, when we're seeing these ICE raids happening in the Home Depot parking lot, it's safe to say that they have intended targets that they already know are going to be there. And unfortunately, and they're coming out and have said, there's essentially unintended consequences of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. If you're another illegal immigrant and you're around those people, those other people are also being detained, found to be here illegally, and they're also being deported. Yeah. So I think that's squashes a lot of what the media is not telling you. Is they just want to make it seem like these ICE raids are occurring at some random locations. People are being corralled and deported. And like I just said, like that's not what's happening. And so,
well, it's no different than our old line of work, right? Where you make a traffic stop and somebody's got a felony warrant or an intended target that you're trying to, do a pickup on, and he's sitting in a car with 3 other dudes that have felony warrants. They're going to go too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not your intent, but it's a byproduct of your
Being
arrest
there.
that you're searching for, right? So I think also the difference between 2003 and now, like the significant difference is social media, right? And now with our country being so divided as it is, each side has their platform to their own audience where they can put their own spin on what's going on here. You asked earlier what my take on it was, and I have no problem sharing my opinion. I think it's good. I think the root of all this is the word illegal, right? And not everybody wants to say that. There is a legal way to gain access to this country. There's a process that you have to go through to get it. I know I'm preaching to the choir.
My dad is it was an illegal immigrant from New Zealand, but had to go through the same process that everybody else had to legally to be a U.S. citizen.
Right. And it's funny how folks that have gone through that process, to include the Hispanic community, such a vast majority of them are pro this enforcement as well. Because they're like, why are you cutting in line in front of me? I had to go through, take these classes, go through all this paperwork stuff, go through the government bureaucracy to get here, and then you just hop a wall. So that was going back to your question you asked like 15 minutes ago.
And what's crazy is the general public doesn't understand or know is that when in law enforcement conducting certain investigations, whether it's, sex crimes cases, major narcotic cases, murder cases, things big cases, at face value, some suspects a lot of the time are illegal immigrants that look like, oh, he's, at face value just looks like a construction worker, hardworking person here in America trying to earn a living, right? Well, then you find out, okay, that person is involved in, blank crime that we're investigating. And a lot of times they pop up when you're talking about narcotics and them working for the cartel. And so who you think might be an average construction worker who you think is here trying to earn a living for his family, a lot of times that's just not, they are doing illegal things and they are involved in cartels and other major criminal organizations. And so that's the stuff the general public doesn't see unless you're in our shoes doing these types of investigations, and then you uncover who these people are. They're here illegally. And like I just said, a lot of the times it looks like they're just an average construction worker, and they're not. They're involved in other major criminal organizations behind the scenes.
Yeah, but some of them it's no different than normal people that have a job that commit crime on the side. I don't think.
Right.
But there a lot of the illegal immigrants are working, and then they are doing crime on the side. But I think what the media shows is, and you get these video clips because the media isn't out there doing a ride along with ICE, getting a background. Okay, this is what our game plan is. We're going to go out. We're going to do this. Oh my God, people are running. We detain people. What you're seeing, almost all the videos are bystanders that see something happen, and then they start filming. So you're missing the beginning of it.
Like you're talking about like using a cell phone or something?
Yeah. That's a majority of these videos are. And then, of course, there's going to be a negative reaction because I've seen some of them and you're like, oh, wow, there's a white vehicle rolls up. It's a U-Haul. Back door rolls up. Eight people jump out in full kits. They start grabbing people and then they detain them. Other vehicles show up. They put them in these cars. And in a matter of minutes, they're driving away, which leaves the thought of the public's thought of they're kidnapping people, which
it does look bad. Yes,
it does look bad. But if you look at like the tactics wise, well, most tactics in law enforcement are to conceal yourself to the very last second, and then you identify yourself as you're detaining people. So there's no mistake that you are law enforcement, which I would argue that as soon as they're out and they're visible, it's clear they're law enforcement. You detain a group of people, and given the state, given the climate of this, people don't and are against ICE. So now it's putting those officers in a safety situation where they're detaining people, and now you're getting crowds, which forces them to put people detained in cars and to drive to a safe location. I've done it at work. I know you've both probably have done it, where you've made an arrest, you get a crowd, and you're like, this is no longer safe. We have to leave. Yeah. I think the media shows not an accurate picture of what's happening.
I don't either, and I think because of that, you have people that are terrified of what you just described. So, and I think that has largely to do with how the media is spinning this. You're right. The cell phone videos that are taken, what it shows, because I've seen those videos and I'm like, at first you're like, God, that's sad. Like that looks shitty. But then it's, that's just not, that's not the way that it works. And so everything that is done is very strategic. There's operation plans in place. I mean, you don't have a gaggle of guys kitted up in mass just go, hey guys, let's get in a U-Haul van and go drive over to Home Depot and jump out on people. And that's not how it works. And so
no. And I think to Mark's point, right, we're not seeing, or media is not releasing the before actions. They're releasing snippets of the during actions and then not the end action, right? Where they move around the corner to finish their investigation, ID people, and then we're not seeing them, the legal folks that they're releasing. Right. They're getting their target and folks who happen to be with them that are also, wanted, and that's it. This isn't a random scoop of people.
I look back at doing when we raided homes for criminal search warrants or arrest warrants, and your target's inside. You raid the home, you detain people, you render the location safe, and of course you have to identify people and you do record check. No one's free to leave at that point.
Right.
And then you identify, okay, this person's good. There's no involvement, nothing here. We can release them. This person has a warrant. They're going to jail. Oh, this person has this connected here, so they're not leaving until we further investigate. a lot of this happens as well as there's people that are it's like collateral damage in a way where you're associated.
Yeah, and I'll read some numbers here to prove your point on that. But yeah, I think ICE got savvy, and because the media has spun this up as what they're doing is horrendous, and they started coming out saying, okay, well, here's the people that we are detaining, who we are deporting, and it's like, yeah, at face value, he looks like a nice guy. Oh, FYI, he's been convicted of this, and this, or they're pending charges of whatever it is, and usually it's pretty violent stuff, or it's some type of sexual assault type stuff, and so. But to prove your point, it says as of mid 2025, ICE. It says bookends. It says that those brought into detention, 65% had no criminal history. So then someone could argue to our point. Well, can you guys argue that the people that they are targeting have violent criminal history when 65% did not? And what it boils down to is because there has been so many illegal entries into the United States over the past 4 years. Now that they are conducting these raids,
it's not just 4 years.
I know, but I think it depends on the administration of how tight is a border locked down, right? Depending on the administration. So we know in the past administration, the border was open. We have a lot more illegal immigrants now in the United States. And so when these ICE raids are being conducted, as I said earlier, when these intended targets are getting caught, a byproduct of just being there, you're also being detained. And so that's why there's a broader scope of people. That's why these numbers are so high. So not everybody with convictions or violent crimes are being detained. People that legitimately are probably here just trying to make a living are also getting caught up in being associated or around those people.
There's an economic impact as well with that 65%, right?
Yeah, totally.
And I don't want to get all political, but if you think about the impact that illegal immigrants have on our society as a whole, right? Cost of living situations, insurance situations, healthcare situations, all these type of things. So while not the intended target, that 65%, again, they're still here illegally. And that is, that's the purpose of us.
It
on top
impacts
of what
the
their
economy.
guidelines are. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's definitely an argument of the term illegally being here, and without getting super in depth in it, because it gets very complex with that, and it's just difficult to define that, because you could argue state versus federal.
Sure.
But there's a lot of people that have been here for a very long time that have a home, they have a driver license, they have a job, they have children,
kids,
they're productive members, and they're the same. There's some people in that same exact boat that do have a criminal record, that do commit crimes, and at some point now they're being and feeling that they're being targeted, and some of them are, and now they're the threat of being deported, which brings up the argument of, well, especially in the state of California, I've lived here for 20 years. This is my home. I have children here, and now I'm scared because I'm going to get deported. And you see these videos of people that are, officers that are wearing masks. You can't identify them, or the argument you can't identify them in vehicles. There is a form of fear. And however you look at that, and they technically are here under, I think it's federal for being illegal, but it's stemmed a lot of different things across the country with.
Yeah, as far as the fear thing goes, just a couple weeks ago, I was at work, and my job, I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt, and then our vests. And my team goes into this.
What brand jeans do you wear?
Levi's. Yeah, Levi's.
I would have gone Wrangler all day for him.
Oh, really?
And then what?
Actually, a couple of them are Express.
Okay,
nice.
that or like the brand 7. I kind of pictured you with that for sure.
Never heard of that.
That's shocking.
What's the ones with the fancy ass pocket things with all the embroidery and stuff like
that?
The
like bejeweled stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
so
I
like
do.
Buck from Buckle,
something like that.
Oh yeah, Buckle.
Yeah,
I love how you know all the clothes stuff of everybody here.
That's true.
You have the least style of anybody.
What are you talking about?
I disagree with that, man.
Yeah, simple style is great style.
Okay. I'm wearing red shorts right now.
Maroon.
Let me finish my story.
Well, it was important that we talk about your attire.
My attire.
We need a full picture.
So
yeah, Kyle
Levi
used to be a
jeans,
model.
Van shoes with a t-shirt, and then our vests. So we go into this Mexican restaurant, And as soon as we walk in, I mean, the place there's probably like 5 or 6 different tables of people eating, look like construction guys, whatever. But as soon as we walked in, no joke, I don't know if it came from the kitchen or if it was the lady at the cash register that was going to take our order. Somebody yelled because we walked in, and you could tell the tension in the restaurant. Some of the tables, the guys stood up. I mean, they thought we were there.
Yeah.
I think they thought we were ICE federal agents, honestly. And we're like, whoa. Like, no, we're just here to eat. Like, calm down, right? And it was actually kind of sad because they clearly were freaked out that we walked in there, and they thought that we were there to do something to them. And it was kind of I have never experienced that in law enforcement ever.
I gotta ask you
almost
this.
20 years.
Did you stay after that? And
We stayed. Hell
no,
yeah.
No.
That's
Dude, you ate so much spit.
You think so?
Oh,
no.
for sure.
Yes, dude.
Absolutely.
We've had this conversation, Dan, with him about eating in restaurants.
Here we go.
No
Uniforms,
law enforcement
no.
officer should ever eat
I thought
in a place where you cannot see them produce.
I
make their
thought
food.
we were keeping the peace. I was like, no, we're here to support the your establishment. And we did.
Bro, you guys kicked the front door in.
No, we didn't.
They're
We
like, why is
walked
everyone
in.
so tense?
Yeah.
We're just here for food.
Yeah, they
No.
get tense. Kyle gets tense.
Right. It escalates. And then he orders a taco.
I mean,
Yeah.
everybody
Pull the spit.
was staring at us the
Yeah.
whole time we were
Could you
eating.
see him make your food? No.
Your
The answer is
mental
no.
crazy.
Not fully.
Yeah,
No.
I'm still very confused, and I will offer this opinion that no police officer in uniform should eat at an establishment that you cannot see them prepare your food.
Agreed. 100%.
It is
you're-
about safety.
so
It's
you're-
not about like
hold on,
disrespect
hold
or
on,
respecting.
hold
or-
on here.
It's
Wait a second.
safety. Yes.
So you're telling me no police officer in uniform should go to any restaurant, because at any restaurant you can't see anybody making
He
your
didn't
food.
say don't go to a restaurant. You can go to a restaurant.
Thank
But you
man.
can't see them making your food. That's what he
Right.
just
I
said.
didn't say, again, you can go to the restaurant.
You just can't eat.
You're not eating there.
You're kidding
No
me.
way.
No, dude.
Absolutely.
Dan,
No way.
I'm
of
100%.
everybody, you're on board with that? I would have thought
It's
I
a
thought- I
safety
would've
thing,
thought
dude.
You 100%
You're
would've
talking
been like,
about your
I don't
health.
care.
You can have someone now. I will give the caveat if you know who owns it. There is some exceptions, but if you just walk into an establishment,
Yeah.
you have no idea what those cooks have experienced in their life.
You are belittling me right now.
No. I hope I want to support you, and I want to try to like.
I'm healthy.
Give you, yeah, but I want to give you some different.
Maybe it's boosting my immune system. Maybe it's actually a positive,
God.
not a negative. You need to be a glass half full kind of guy. You're very glass half
Dude,
empty.
your glass was half full of spit.
yeah.
I'm
And
fine.
the, and the
I'm
rest
fine.
of it was
No,
bleach
I
or
got-
chemicals.
Toilet water.
Toilet water.
Yeah.
Dude, I have compassion for you wanting to support local businesses, and you can do that in different ways.
Right.
Take out and then show up, and hopefully the food's sitting there.
Yeah.
But not eating.
What about Chipotle?
You can watch them make your food right there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what if that person's
So
serving you.
Chipotle it is. I go to Chipotle.
Chipotle is great food. Subways, like anything where you can see
Okay.
them make your food. It's just about safety
I
and like your
tried to
internal
just
health.
share a story about how it kind of took me by surprise when I walked into this establishment. Somebody yelled in the back. Everyone stood up. Shit got a little weird.
And then
And
you
then,
made
like,
it
calm
even
down.
weirder by staying.
Yeah.
Okay, so I should have just walked out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Turned
you
around
should
and
never
just
have gone
walked
in
out.
there in the first place, knowing what's going on. Order
didn't
order
think
to
about
go.
it. I didn't
Okay.
think
Well,
about it.
now I hope you do think about it.
You order pickup and
Yeah.
you don't identify yourself as officer or sergeant. Just be Kyle. I want the Dos Tacos Grande, and then just pick it up because it's done already. To your point, it's
Yeah.
already on the counter.
I've
Fine.
ordered pizza when we're at a house doing like a search warrant or something when I was back on patrol, and I've ordered pizzas to like 3 or 4 houses down because obviously we don't want it coming where law enforcement is or they know there's activity, and then you just when you see the pizza delivered, you just walk down and you pay them and you pick up the pizza and you bring it to the house. It's
I
just
had
like
my-
being aware.
I had my own. I want you to feel better because I had my own stupid ice moment too. I was in Phoenix last month for a golf tournament. So I'm not a social.
Shocking.
Yeah, no. Not. I generally hate everyone. So when I go on,
He doesn't
trips-
mean that. He loves you. He loves all of you.
except for the viewers, exactly. But like, if I go on a trip for work or whatever, I'll just stay in the hotel. I'll stay in my room. I'll watch TV, text the family, stuff like that. So
And drink beer.
yeah, Coors Light, right? So actually, that's one of the first stop. Grab a case of Coors Light.
Smart.
Right. So Phoenix, like last month, get everything in the room, and I got my case of Coors Light, and I need ice. So I don't know where the ice machine is. I'm at some like Homewood Suites or something like that. One of the ones where it's like a maze. The floor plan is a maze. So
Well, don't they have fridge? Why would you need ice?
Yeah, that's weird.
to put beverages in.
Okay, I thought most hotels have fridges, but go ahead.
Yeah, but dude, okay, now this is a different conversation.
No, go ahead. Now I want to hear
You
the
want
story.
it cold.
Hotel fridges are warm
Yeah.
until it sits in there for 3 days, and by that point you're back home.
Okay,
Anyways,
so
I
you're
need
looking
some
for
ice.
ice.
I need ice. So I'm walking around the
No pun intended.
floor. Right. Not yet. Walking around, I can't find it, and there's a housekeeping lady, right? I see the cart in front of a room. They're cleaning the room. So I kind of stand at the cart.
Hammered.
I'm like, no. And I'm like, hey, good morning or good afternoon. And she turns and she starts speaking Spanish to me. And I was like, oh, fuck. And like, I'm too deep here. I don't speak that much Spanish. So I'm like, ice?
Oh,
And I'm thinking like
God.
Ice Cube, right? In my tiny man brain, Ice Cube, but her eyes just gigantic. And I was like, no. And then I'm running through like, 8th grade Spanish. I'm like, Frio. And then it's around the corner or whatever it is. But I'm walking down the hall and I'm like, dude, that was horrible. And I'm like, yeah, but I did the like Ice Cube thing. And then I'm thinking like, that's a sign language thing for badge.
Oh,
So I
what?
basically identified myself as an ice
dick,
dude.
dude.
Yeah, no, I felt horrible.
Isn't it sad though that that's the reaction that you're getting from, the Hispanic culture people? It's
They
like,
are legitimately.
They are freaked out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could you imagine living in fear like that every day? So because of all that, the state of California, Wiener is a person. Oh my gosh, I am drawing a complete.
He's a political figure
Yes.
in the state of California. He's
Yeah.
not referring to his wiener.
No, and he wrote.
I wanted that to be uncomfortable a lot more than it was.
So he authored the state Senate bill SB 627, and it's known in California is the No Secret Police Act. So, but better known is cops can't wear masks. They can't conceal their identity. So I want to talk a little bit about that because it's gotten, this bill is really interesting. Dan, you're getting ready to talk about this. Okay, so that is exactly what I'm talking about. Is the bill is preventing that. Well, actually, that's a ski mask.
It's actually a balaclava and a ski mask.
It's
Yeah,
a
that's
combo.
both.
It's a combo, but it serves the purpose of you not knowing who I am.
I would not know who you are.
Yeah,
I wish you would have worn that
100%.
last night at the baseball game when you were on TV trying to tell us how cool you were.
Yeah,
You would have been better off suited wearing that.
it is. It is
I don't have to
interesting.
stand for this.
You too. So let me talk about it. Okay, so the No Secret Police Act, it bans most local and federal law enforcement officers from wearing a mask and other disguises that conceal their identity while on duty, with limited exceptions. Okay, so there's like a list of exceptions. But this bill was signed by the California's Governor Gavin Newsom on September 20th of this year. It goes into effect January 1st, 2026. And law enforcement agencies in the state of California have to have a policy written and in place by July 1st of 2026. I'll talk about the exemptions here in a little bit, but here's the interesting thing is it is a crime at this point to conceal your identity if you're not meeting these requirements. So the first violation is an infraction. The second one is a misdemeanor, and then it continues misdemeanor after misdemeanor. So that this bill is strong because there's a lot of different things in the state of different states where like, oh, I can get away with this or something, and like it's administrative or maybe it's a policy violation.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question: is who's gonna? What if a department just says, "Yeah, we're not doing that." I can promise the feds aren't going to do it.
Well, no,
they've already come out and said they're not.
Yeah, they're not doing it.
Federal's
Yeah.
already doing it, but state and local agencies where you work and all the other officers that work in California, the deputies or police officers, the agency has to have that policy. And then now, if you're going to be in violation of that policy, I mean, I don't know what is the department going to do?
I think it depends on what department you work for.
That they're just not
Truly,
gonna-
I think it depends on what. Okay, so I won't use your guys'. I'm not going to say your guys' department, but if you work for a department where you just can't get away with stuff like that, based on the climate of the area that you live in, I think you're going to have more of a problem with that versus an agency where, depending on where that is,
Well, if your department,
they're not
just
going to
think-
care.
Think if your department came out and said, right now, here's our policy, you cannot do that, and if you do, here's the penalties. Do you think that's going to deter people?
I think it's going to be interesting. It depends on how steadfast that officer or deputy is, right? So
yeah. Well, you always have those guys who are, I will die on this hill.
right.
Yeah.
Like when the mask mandate thing came out, departments came out with policies about, some agencies where you shall have a mask on, you stepping foot in the police facility or everywhere you go, like out in public, you shall have a mask. And then other agencies, police chiefs and sheriffs were like, I'm not making my people do that.
I think it could turn into a retention issue as well.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah.
Who's willing? If you can move one city over and get paid the same and not have to play by these rules, that's one thing. The second thing I want to point out is it all comes down to money, right? So there's state funding that's allotted for a lot of agencies in this area, and I'm sure that funding will have an attachment as well. If there's an agency that doesn't comply, I'm sure there's going to be consequences. So basically forcing the hand of the agencies of you are going to comply with this.
I don't think it's going to be as black and white as they probably had hoped it.
Sure.
They wanted it to be in the bill. I just don't believe that to be true because I do think that some sheriffs and police chiefs are not going to adhere to it.
Right.
Well, if they're the ones making the penalties and they're not.
Face value,
I don't
though,
know.
this is what I'm telling you is what the public is aware of. And what a lot of cops are probably aware of, because not everyone takes the time or wants to or is even going to be troubled by digging into it. So here's the background and the purpose of it. So the state Senate bill was written with a response to the federal enforcement, and they actually specifically talk about ICE in the state Senate bill. So the whole design of the bill is to target ICE, and they had to group in other agencies, local and state agencies, to cover the federal. They had to go from basically ground all the way up. And the reason it was introduced and the whole point of it is to remove the identity or the concealment of the officer. They want officers, and they're using the term of transparency. We want them to be seen. But here's the exception. So
I did hear Gavin Newsom on a recent, I don't know if it was a podcast or he was on like the late night show with whatever. Anyways, he did come out and say, because I think it was a Stephen Colbert or whatever the guy's name is, asked him about that, and he said the governor made a comment about like why cops shouldn't have to hide their identity. What are we hiding from and all that? And so I'll get into that in a minute, but go ahead.
Okay, so here's the exceptions. SWAT operations, if you're approved for undercover assignments, motorcycle helmets, if you're wearing an N95 or some type of surgical mask for like health reasons, if you're working fires or if you're sick or your city or something is enacting a mask mandate, any type of a breathing apparatus for like smoke or toxins, or like if you're deploying gas on like a perimeter or during riots, you can wear a mask. You can wear something clear over your face, any type of eyewear or protection against eye stuff. And then
This is already
underwater operations.
So what's the point? So basically what you're saying is a patrol guy can't wear a mask.
I'll tell
Because
you what.
you can.
Who outside of those categories would be wearing a mask?
I'll tell you what. I would die on that hill, and
For what? But for what? What?
I got the Rona, bro. I'm wearing a mask all day long, everywhere. I didn't do it
So
the last 5
okay,
years,
so that's-
but I'd be doing it in patrol every freaking day. I
Well,
guarantee you
and
that.
if you're working a patrol, see, this is a
This
great
what's
argument.
crazy is it went from you shall wear a mask, and now the governor is saying you cannot wear a mask.
But just remember, the whole point of this, they're saying it's for transparency, and the whole point of this bill is it's directed at ICE. And I think that's what a lot of cops are getting pissed about, is like this same response that you have, and you're like, what's going on? But recognizing like the root of this is to prevent ICE from concealing themselves. They're giving exceptions. I'm not
But
defending
ICE-
or for. They're giving exceptions to the
But
bill.
ICE falls under the category of an undercover operation. They would be allowed to wear their mask. So it really, to me, doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Approved, but yes, but also SWAT operations. So if you you raid a house, you can cover your face.
Let's talk about that real quick. You were on a full-time team.
They were champions.
Okay.
At
Yeah,
lot
they
of
were
competitions.
twice. Did you know that?
Two-time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Two-time
least.
champs, baby.
At least
Hey.
twice.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Bro for
Urban
life.
Urban Shield?
Bro,
Urban
Shield.
bro SWAT for life, dude. SWAT
Dude, there's
boy.
like 34 teams from all over the world that were there.
Sick. That's sick.
That's pretty rad.
That's fucking badass.
Yeah.
I like it. Anyways,
Yeah.
me personally,
I'm just gonna have to give a quick. I'm gonna interrupt you and give a quick shout out to the team that I was on that one. We dominated.
hell yeah. What year? Give the year a shout out. dude.
2017.
Team 2017 and what? What other year? You said he won twice.
Our team had won multiple times. I was on the winning team in
I
2017.
thought it was back to back, so it would have been to answer his question for you.
I think 2015,
you know how in
2015 was
sports-
the champion. 2016 we got, I don't know, I think we may have got third, and then 2017 came back and just slammed dunk.
Hey.
Just straight. All we do
You
is
know
win.
how in racing sports, if whoever wins the overall championship of like however many races, the last race you're crowned champion, and then they'll give them like a number 1 shirt with their last name on it, like right? Like
No.
Yeah, I have
You don't
no
know
idea
that?
what you're talking about.
Well, I guess I'm the only one that watches sports. I mean, do you guys watch motocross, supercross?
There's so many things
Anyways,
wrong with what you said.
Yeah.
I was gonna say was we need to get you a shirt that says number 1 and then the years that you guys were awesome, the most awesomeness,
Yeah.
and your last name on it. But
Yeah.
I guess that doesn't make any sense to anybody. Okay, well, going back to the mask thing,
He's
I've
shifting
always-
gears super quick, dude.
was that
Yeah.
a pun, dude? Like shifting gears? Because
Yeah,
we're
like-
talking about racing.
It's
Racing
a
reference.
corporate
Yeah,
term.
that was
Both you and I
good.
know about this.
Yeah.
Let's shifting gears.
One day you will.
So I've always thought wearing masks and balaclavas and shit, I always thought that was dumb. I'm like, this is dumb. This is a total, like, you just want to look cool thing. Now, I think there's obviously purposes for it, gas, and there's times when you need to wear it. But I was sharing with a story for you, Mark. It was like a small agency too, and this guy was clearly trying to be cool. He was dealing with some minor narcotic investigation. It had nothing to do with cartel, anything of that nature. And the target was in our city. He said it was a stash house. They did this investigation, whatever. But he shows up and he's wearing pretty much what you were just wearing, a full face mask, sunglasses, everything. And I'm like, okay, this is already stupid. We end up executing the search warrant for them, turn it over to.
So wait,
to these
he
guys.
showed up to briefing wearing that?
No, he didn't have it at briefing, but when we ended up serving the search warrant, he showed up after the search warrant.
Okay.
And I'm talking pretty low level. Like, how many search warrants have you been involved in where it's just a dope house? Like, low level, my personal identity is not, I'm not concerned about that.
Yeah.
That was this case. And him and his team, I won't even mention what agency they're from, but it was a smaller department, show up, full face mask, sunglasses, like they were investigating some high-ranking cartel member.
Yeah.
It was a joke. I've always thought that was dumb. I think it's like, I wanted to be like, dude, you look like an idiot. And they ended up finding absolutely nothing in this house.
Let's name him.
But the point
Say
is,
his name.
No, the point, I don't even know the guy's name. I know what agency they came from, but the point is, there has always been this like cool factor of wearing masks as cops because maybe they see it in movies or whatever. But so I really don't have an issue with telling cops you can't wear masks during certain times. When you are dealing with high profile people or cases such as members of the cartel or whatever, I don't want my identity out there. No way. I mean, we've had some of our undercover narcotic cops have pictures of their UC trucks taken and sent to them in a text message. So that's dangerous shit. Like, that's scary, right? And so I do believe there are times for it. And it sounds to me, just from what you read, there are exceptions to the mask ban. It's not a blanket. You can never wear one.
Right.
I think the
So I
frustrating
don't really
thing,
see it being a huge deal.
it's more for me personally, it would be a pushback.
Yeah, I
We're
get your
pushing
point.
a stupid idea.
I get your
I'll
point.
show you a stupid idea.
Yeah, I get your point.
The other thing that is getting ignored for some reason is, this is getting presented as secret police and all that. They're wearing a full police uniform.
Yeah.
They're marked.
I think from what I heard Gavin Newsom say was, why are they showing up in, like you said, U-Haul vans, vans that are just all white, no markings or whatever. I think in his world, he would want full transparency. You should never be allowed to roll up in an all white, unmarked van. And that's just not reality. That's not practical. That's
Not
just
safe.
dumb policing. It's not even safe for the,
Right.
that's actually less safe than if you were to have no markings on the, so I don't,
Well, the bill is still.
but politicians don't see it that way.
Well, I think you're right. And they enacted this very quickly as a response to target
was, yeah.
ICE. That's, I mean, the bill outlines that. And I would recommend anybody that's in law enforcement in the state of California to read it because you should be able to articulate a reason when to wear one. The interesting thing, though, is that they're acknowledging that the bill needs to be updated, and they said that they're going to try and update it in the beginning of 2026 at some point. So it's a clear response to target ICE, to calm it down, to stop them, or to intimidate them because of what's happening with the fear of the people. And you have the political figures that run the state that are saying, we don't like it, we don't agree with it. How do we respond to that? But there's exceptions in here, and I think if you have the ability to articulate that, you could still cover your face.
For sure.
Yeah.
Give them the bill number again so they can look it up. You told them to look it up.
Yeah. Thanks, dude.
And this is only
Senate
California.
bill. It's only in California.
Right.
State Senate Bill 627, and it's known as the No Secret Police Act. If you Google it, it'll come up immediately. It outlines a lot of things on there. Here's the key takeaways, I would say. There are exceptions for it. It goes into effect January 1. By July 1st of 2026, the departments need to have policies in place supporting this. So,
and just know, just because it is just California right now, in other states, I promise you'll see this stuff start rolling out.
Oh, for sure.
yeah, it's been successful here being
It'll roll out
implemented.
other
It's gonna
states,
come out different places.
Like-minded cities or leadership for like-minded cities.
Yeah.
I mean, even here, there's been agencies that have publicly stated that they're not going to support ICE
Coming into their
procedures.
cities.
It's insane to me.
And there
ICE,
are
ICE will
departments-
give them the middle finger and say, we're coming in anyways because we're the feds.
And there are departments throughout the country that most likely have policies limiting balaclavas, covering your face. In 95s, like they have policies already for some of that. So I think those are just the key takeaways.
It is funny. I keep thinking back to to the COVID time where we were literally mandated to wear masks. It's just so funny that I don't know. It's all political crap. But
And this is me again. I wore a mask one time.
I didn't either, dude. I was not a proponent of it at all. I mean, I would never wear a mask ever. You still see people out in today, 2025, wearing masks outside. I was just in Disneyland a couple days ago, and people are walking around outside wearing masks still. So
The shell up the street, I won't go to them anymore because they kicked me out of the store because I wouldn't put a mask on. I said, I'm never coming
there's
back
a
here
Chevron
again.
actually in town who did the same thing to me, and I refuse to go there also to this day.
I think this is interesting
Yeah.
because ICE is in the spotlight all across the country, a lot of different cities. There's agencies, California, LA being one, where they are requiring, which federals, they are probably 100% disregarding it, requiring notification that they're going to be in their cities.
Yeah.
And then you have California come out with a mask mandate. And again, the media, I think that's what's really important about this podcast is we're very neutral and we just give you the real information as much as we can get factually, where I hope some of this like kind of calmed people's nerves and kind of like got a little bigger picture, a little more information about what's happening. And like, yes, the mask mandate or the No Secret Police Act sounds scary at face value, but when you really look at it and you think about it, you can articulate around it.
Totally.
So-
I think the name of it's stupid, but
Well,
Dan did wear his mask while driving over here, so he probably got the cops called on him, which they're probably going to come knocking any moment now. So,
but here's the thing. You're no longer in law enforcement, so you were in no violation.
I can do what I want.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're just
there's no
being
problem.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope they aren't wearing masks when they come in to get me because we're going to tell them. Or they could watch
They
the
have
episode.
until 2020. It's January 1.
Maybe they put their SWAT gear on, and now you fall into that. Maybe that's why ICE is using all the gear versus because that's not easy stuff to jump out and run in a full kit. But if you're in a full kit and you're considered a SWAT capacity, now you're taken care of.
They could instead be wearing his like bongo jeans or whatever they were and t-shirt and vest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
like George something Walmart brand George.
Let's just not even get back into
I
this.
really Express. I totally get that. Actually, I have a pair of Express pants that you've bought me.
Yeah, I bought you that. I don't think he ever paid me back for, and they were like $90.
Yeah, I asked you. I said, "Hey, do you want me?" And I just,
Somebody else noticed that they purchase each other clothing.
We do. we do
Not
that.
unusual.
yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. That was good. It's just, I guess without getting crazy into the political weeds of all of it.
Yeah. I mean, we're just reporting what it is.
Yeah, it's just giving it to you from the angle of law enforcement, kind of things that the media doesn't tell you. I guess that's what our role is. We'll tell you that part.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for coming in, Dan.
thanks, Dan.
Absolutely.
Thanks for asking to come on again. That was good. Dan said
Did he call you?
I did not.
No, he actually didn't call this time. Can we show the text message of the meme that you sent? Where it was like you was like a little pouty crybaby waiting for the Shots Fired podcast boys to ask me to come back on.
What?
it was clever.
He did ask to come on, so you got to give him credit for that.
Well, the individual text I got was like, "Hey, what time are we meeting on Saturday?" And I'm like,
No, no,
this is what time we're meeting.
Must have talked to Kyle.
No.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and you probably got this. You know what? I'm surprised you didn't start that text that way. Like, hey, Mark, I talked to Kyle. I'll be there at 9 o'clock. Does that work for you? Then
I
you
could've
send
done
Kyle
that.
one. I talked to Mark. I'll be.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Playing both parents.
I love when you come in. This is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I thought like I'm kind of a big deal. I
Yeah, no, you are.
And
You almost you were on TV last night at the baseball game. That's
yeah, you
cool.
were.
Yeah.
Fourth row.
on a
Yeah.
Peacock.
On Peacock,
Yeah.
telling us to check out the game, guys. I'm on TV. Turn on the TV, the game's not even on because it's an A's game playing at a minor league field. Like,
Yeah.
I love.
I
when
think you
two
got paid
gang
to
up.
be there.
My friends were like, "Who's texting you?" I'm like, "I'm not sure. It's just a number. I don't have this person's
Yeah.
name saved in my phone."
So strange that. Yeah, I do think it's weird that like I'll only get a text like 15 minutes before you guys start filming. Like I was definitely an afterthought, you know what I mean? Or you went through your
And the
list of other
crazy
people.
thing is, Dan, is you still made it here, which means you jumped in your car, hauled ass to get here.
yeah.
And he's like, guys, I made it. And we're
Well,
like,
the crazy
"Oh."
thing is his family's still in the car right now.
They are. We were actually shopping. We were at Walmart looking for jeans. I was gonna buy you guys jeans.
Yeah.
And I was like, we gotta go. I'm getting called in.
Yeah,
I'm getting the
I'm
page.
on call right now.
Yeah, I'm on call.
Every
I love when you
weekend.
come in. This is great.
I love being here, man. Thanks for having me. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Now let's get into the politics. Let's just talk pure politics now.
Yeah,
for
let's do
about
that.
an
Oh,
hour.
that's on the next show.
Oh,
That's
cool.
on
I'm
the other podcast that we run.
Yeah.
I'll text you guys.
All right.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Stay safe and
All
be
right.
smart.
Later, guys.